Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Monday, March 9th, 2026. Let's catch up with the news. We have had President Trump appearing as the one who announced that the war is going to be short and most probably ended very soon. We don't know exactly when. He didn't say because, as you know, he doesn't have any sense of the words. He talks too much. He doesn't have really any idea about the meaning of the words. For example, let me show you something very interesting. I made it a kind of tweet today in order to show that what is the lovely relationship of Trump with the English language. As you can see here, he said, US has won, but we haven't won enough. Right? So this is the way that you can make English language very bad, as you can see. So, and the reason why he's talking in this way, because he doesn't have any idea about what to do, what he's going to do, unless the boss will call him and give him the exact instructions, and then he knows what to talk about. Otherwise, right now we have this impression that nothing is going on as planned for Israel. The United States doesn't count really in this equation. For Israel, nothing is going as planned, and that's why, with reference to the situation over there, he had the mission to come and to prepare the grounds maybe for something. But in a full contradictory sayings, words, phrases, ideas, nobody understood really what he wants to say. In one of the cases, for example, he's talking about, again, the animosity with the English language. Here he says, Trump says the war is very complete. Very complete. We don't know what it means. Something is complete or not. Very complete, it doesn't make sense. It's like saying that our neighbor is very pregnant. She's pregnant or not. Very pregnant, very complete. So, anyway, what's going on? The fact is that we are closing to 12th day of the war. And you remember in 2025, the war that Israel started lasted 12 days. And this is showing somehow the carrying capacity of the Zionist entity for any of this kind of war. Okay? Something between 10 to 12 to 15 days at most, but not more. Which means that Israel is getting to a point where the possibility of implosion starts really to be realistic and we can say close. Many sources are talking about a serious interrogation in Israeli society regarding what is going to happen finally for this war, when this war is supposed to end, because they want to know when they can come out from the shelters and have a normal life. And it had been said that we are going to do something very fast, extremely powerful and fast. Trump was calling it today excursion, a short excursion. right? A short operation that must have been finished very soon. Trump calls Iran's operation a short-term excursion. All right. From now on, we enter in a very interesting phase of this process, this war. Why? Because till now, we can talk about a period of time that I call, is not really a lexicon of military language. I am using the term of mighty honeymoon. Okay? There is a honeymoon for a very powerful force. In the both sides of a war, there is one that is very powerful, is the first army of the world, and another one, the ally Israel, is the first force, military force of the Middle East. So everything is in their side, and of course, when they start, they can do whatever they want. And this is what they have been doing from the day one till now. But from now on, suddenly, there is pointless to continue, because they said that we targeted 5,000 points in Iran, 5,000 targets, right? They said that there is no navy, there is no air force, their capacity of sending missiles, producing the missiles, launching the missiles, everything had been wiped out, 80%, 90%. So which means that, yeah, mission accomplished. They don't have anything else. So that's why now we can announce that we are going to end very soon. It's going to be finished pretty quickly. Quote. So that's the period of honeymoon, where you think that the war is just what is happening in the battlefield, and beyond that, there won't be any consequences. Anything that you can consider as the result or side effects of what you have started as war, as military operation, or as short-term excursion, right? And suddenly, the reality is there waiting for you to remind you that no, it doesn't work like that. Why? Because we have very strong signals coming from the Iranian side saying that we are not interested in any kind of ceasefire for now. Some sources are talking about Witkoff and other people from the State Department attempting to establish a contact with the Iranians, but the Iranians refused completely, and there is no contact. They don't want to talk with the Americans. Let's dive into this, because it's a very interesting point, and we have to know why the Iranians are not really interested in this kind of, ceasefire, interruption of battles or fights. No. First, we have to know why Trump is doing so. Why today he came in two immediate gatherings, one in Florida, another one in Washington, in order to announce that it's done, it's over, we are going to finish very soon. First, you remember in the last video, I tried to say that we are going to have a bloody Monday in the markets. And all the indicators have been telling us regarding what was happening in Japan, in South Korea, in the East Asia markets, that something very bad, because it was some 78% of fall of the indicators, and we knew that something very bad is coming toward Europe, and a few hours later for the United States. And effectively, it started like that in the Dow Jones, and all the indicators were in red for hours and hours till the savior Trump came and announced that don't worry about this, it's over. It will be very shortly finished. We have done whatever we wanted to do, so we had planned for 4-5 weeks, but we are in advance, so we don't need really to continue on that time. We can already finish for 10, 12, 13, 14 days, and it's over. So that was for a little, let's say, curbing the price surge, right? And also the degradation of all the indicators of the stock market. So the idea was how we can suppress that, right? How we can blunt it to control the damage control. So that was the first objective of Trump, to come and to say these nonsensical, completely contradictory things. And the second one was the idea of preparing the grounds, the context, so that they can announce what we called a few days ago preemptive victory, right? Coming and say that I told you yesterday or 2 days ago that it's almost done. Now it's done. It's finished. It's over. What's the objective? The objective is how we can save ourselves from entering a long-term, disastrous, catastrophic war. Why? Because everybody is there to tell him that that was a mistake, that Iran is not Venezuela, that we are far from toppling the regime. There is no regime change. We killed Khamenei, we get another Khamenei. So and the Iranians are sending still missiles, drones on Israel and on the countries in the Persian Gulf. So nothing really can be considered as promising for the close future, near future. So what to do? Trying to find in a way or another to get away, to escape the possibility of having a long-term disastrous war, right? Because we know the consequences, the economic consequences of this war have been already extremely negative, and they are going to worsen more and more. So, but the problem, there is a little problem, a very small issue, which is that in any war you have two sides. And in order to stop war, both sides must agree, right? And right now we see that Iranian doesn't seem really being in agreement with what Trump is suggesting. And I would like to describe the reasons for which Iran doesn't want at all this possible or potential ceasefire. The first one is that right now Iran is in a very bad situation. You can imagine that the situation just before starting this war was almost catastrophic in Iran, right? Extremely bad. And right now it's, X times more. So why Iran has to accept a ceasefire that cannot really help it to get to a better situation? but most probably in a worse situation. Why? Because right now, by accepting a ceasefire, Iran doesn't take anything as positive point from the other side. The only interest, the only apparent interest is not getting hit anymore. All right, but the damage is already done for Iran. It's too late. They don't have anything. And it's not even a question of, for example, removing sanctions or whatsoever, because there is no negotiation, there is no agreement, there is nothing that can satisfy the Iranian side about a possible ceasefire or interruption of strikes over Iran. So now Iranians are thinking about what to do, and they see that their enemy, or their enemies, we can say, are in a very bad situation, or even I can say day after day in a worse situation. Why? Because, as I told you, the capacity, the carrying capacity, the maximal capacity of Israeli society as an entity, as a country, to for a war of attrition, it's something around 10 to I don't know. For example, let's say 2 weeks, 14 days. But beyond that, we said that, right? I mentioned in several videos last week that we are talking about a society on the verge of implosion. There is the problem of Gaza. There is the new massacre in the West Bank. There are huge tensions between the Israeli Arab and the Jewish Arab and the Christian Israeli. In Israel, there is no future for Israeli society as a society without war, right? And the elections are coming. Netanyahu's political career is completely at risk, and the far right is in a very fragile situation. So, and nothing is going well for the Israelis within the Zionist entity. So they are in a very bad shape. And here in the United States, the Americans are now in front of this reality that nothing is going in the right direction for the economy, and later, because of the economy, in the American society. And we are talking about a country that is going to have a very major, important elections, November midterm elections, where there is the perspective of the Democrats taking the control of the Congress and impeach President Trump. So, in such a situation, of course, Trump needs a kind of calming down the situation, right, in such a way that it can maybe get out of this quagmire. You remember I mentioned 3 scenarios last night. One is just to give up, right, and to accept that they couldn't really reach any objectives that had been fixed by Israel or by the United States as the main objectives: toppling the regime, changing the regime, getting control of the Iranian oil, Iranian territory, Iranian natural resources. Nothing has been really achieved, right? Just destruction. more and more destruction, killing more than 1,200 people, injuring almost 12,000 people, destroying a lot of things, including schools, banks, a lot of civil buildings. So that's the result. That's all they are getting. Of course, destroying the missiles, the drones, but how many? To which extent? Iran is capable right now to send missiles and drones over Israel and all the American bases in the Arab countries of the Persian Gulf. So we don't know exactly what they are. And they can be the result to announce a victory, a huge victory over Iran. On the other hand, Iran is thinking that what I am getting through a ceasefire, a few months of being away from bombs, right? But what about after a few months, when again the United States, under the order of Israel, will come back and start to bomb us for whatever reason. So that's why when the Iranians are thinking about the fact that they lost a lot of the infrastructures and they don't have any money for reconstruction, for rebuilding, and there is no possibility to attract the investment in the country, the foreign investment. So that would be a extremely weakened Iranian regime, Iranian government, and because it cannot really answer to the basic needs of the society, very soon it will be at risk, inside, through the same thing that we saw a few months ago, economic protests, social protests, financial issues, and inflation, hyperinflation. So that's why the Iranians don't have anything to lose if they don't accept these probable ceasefire suggested by the United States or maybe by some other countries. But on the other hand, the Iranians have a lot to gain if they continue the war. Why? Because by doing so, they are putting several entities, several layers at risk. Let's see what is exactly at stakes. What could be in the balance if the Iranian regime continue the war. First, for the United States, it will be a real international disaster. Why? Because the global markets are ready to react violently, really aggressively. Essentially, we shouldn't forget that if Japan's economy is at risk, Japan can come, to sell off all the treasury bonds of the United States, and we are talking about something like $6 to $7 trillion. And if they come really to cash these bonds, the American economy can risk hugely to go down, to fall, but very far, So that's why it's really in the interest of the United States to calm down the global market, the financial market, the global energy market. And that's why today President Trump was talking about the fact that we want to help Chinese economy. Through what? Through ending this war, so that the Strait of Hormuz can reopen, and through that, the Chinese economy can get the necessary energy from the Arab countries in the region. But this is exactly where the Iranian can maneuver. Another layer, that's the first one is the United States. The second one is pushing Israeli society toward an implosion. And really over there, the situation is extremely bad. Despite all the censorship Netanyahu's government tried to impose to all the medias and even the Israeli citizens, we know by here and there that the situation, psychological and social situation is extremely bad. The Israeli economy is completely in shambles right now. And everything almost is, in a very bad shape. So Israel will be also in serious crisis if the war continues. Just a few days more, 1, 2, 3 weeks more. Now, what about the Arab countries in the Persian Gulf? They will be almost dead completely. They will die economically, politically, and socially. Look at what is going on right now in Bahrain. There is an uprising of the population, and it's possible to topple down the monarchy over there. Right? This is the fate that is waiting for Saudi Arabia, for Kuwait, for Emirates, incrementally. A real crisis over there. And, of course, global economy. Through the elements like keeping shut the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians are able to bring down the global economy, because right now the European countries are in a kind of panic. They don't get the necessary energy, and imagine that we are still in winter over there, and it would be day after day worse. So that's why we can see that beside this rhetoric of huge victory of the United States, the most powerful army, all the nonsensical things that President produced today, suddenly after that he posted on social media something that could be extremely meaningful. Let me show you. Here, President Trump is threatening. He is threatening Iran by saying if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, which is the case right now, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder. 20. Not 19 times harder, 20 times harder. All right? Than they have been hit thus far. Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation. Okay? So what he is talking about is talking about the Israeli agenda that had been dictated, that had been ordered to Trump in order to achieve it, in order to realize it. And that's why he is reproducing what had been dictated. Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them. So, now we can have a better reading, a better lecture of what is going on. I mentioned in my previous videos that the war has been started to wipe Iran out, to destroy completely Iran. So anyone can imagine anything else most probably is doing a huge mistake. You will be very, erroneous, wrong, if you think that Israel triggered this war in order just to damage Iran and then leave Iran just as a, destroyed country, for example, mostly, partly, but not completely. No. If you think so, it means that you don't know yet what kind of entity is Israel. An entity that had been created in order to put an end to any kind of civilization on earth. This is the objective, this is the mission, this is the historic mission of Zionism, to put an end to any kind of state nations in the Middle East. And once they have their greater Israel in the Middle East, to do it to the whole world, so that they can have the earth only and only for themselves. If we have time, I will explain it, the process, because this is a huge plan. This is a huge plot. This is a global plot of Zionists in order to, completely remove anything that can look like a nation state anywhere on earth. The earth must be completely cleaned from the no-Jewish population so that they can dominate the whole planet for themselves. It's a little horrible, but this is what they think and this is what they want really to do. But let's back to the story of the war in the 11th day of what has started in February 28th. So we are talking about something very interesting. I mentioned before that the setting, the framework of this war is set in such a way that the possibility, among the possibilities that we have enumerated last night in the last video, leaving Iran as it is, sending the boots forces over there, boots on the ground, and bombing with the nuclear weapon Iran, right? That were the three possibilities we talked about. So as you can see, the conditions are such that there is no possibility for the first one. Not because the actors don't want it, but because technically it's impossible. There is no point really for Iran to accept such a thing, that it had been partially destroyed for the infrastructure. 5,000 targets had been struck and destroyed. Now, without anything, as Trump says, without air force, without naval force, without missiles, without drones, now there is a ceasefire. Okay. There is no financial perspective. There is no the removal of sanctions. There is no anything regarding the Iranian assets that are freezed. There is no agreement regarding the nuclear. Nothing. Just ceasefire. Of course, Iran cannot accept that. Nobody can accept this. Once you have done it to a country, that country doesn't have anything to lose because it has been already destroyed and they don't have anything else to, to be worried about. Now, we understand that Iran is not in a situation that can continue an endless war forever, right? But we saw that everybody was saying that Iran cannot win and doesn't want to win war. You cannot win with, just that amount of military force, American army, Israeli army. That's impossible, mathematically impossible. But what you can do is to bring them in such a quagmire, right? In such a bad situation where they are going to have a real nightmare from this step and after war. From this step where everything starts to be a problem for President Trump, for the United States, and by extension for Israel. But don't forget that. In the core of this issue, we have Israel, which is right now in a very apocalyptic attitude, in apocalyptic mood. Okay? Because based on their beliefs, ideological and religious creeds, they think that right now they are at the end of time. And the end of time is when they have just to spread more and more wars, killings, and chaos, so that God, I don't know, God or someone coming from God, comes on earth and save them. Save only and only them. It's who? It's the God's chosen people, right? That's all. If there is, I don't know what or who coming for them, it's not for us, it's not for saving us, no. It's only for them. So in order to be saved completely and dominate the earth, and most probably because some of them believe really that the Jews will be put in a kind of spaceship, and they will be brought to another, I don't know, planet or something, just pure insanity coming from the cavemans that invented this kind of a story and lasted till now. So for Israel, getting to a point where there is a real global disaster, it's okay. Not only it's okay, it's the objective. Think about that. This is what Republicans and the American supporters of Israel cannot understand. They cannot see from this angle the things. They think that they are getting something good because America will become, the first world force, or I don't know what. But Israel is bring the United States in a pathway that is extremely dangerous for the entity and the existence of the United States. But Israel doesn't care, because this is what they want. They want to spread chaos. They want to spread wars, conflicts, slaughtering, genocide, so that the situation becomes such on earth that God's arrives and save them. I have several production, like the articles or programs, where I talked about the pure, huge nihilism that you can find in Zionism. There is nothing, they don't have anything as ideal. There is nothing constructive. They are not looking for creating a better world, creating a world of peace and prosperity, nothing as such. only and only, the emotion and the motivation through killing, through destroying, through burning the children alive, in Gaza, killing 800,000 people over there. This is the only thing that can give them the motivation so that they can be always on the run, right? Now, with such a situation, we are going to have from almost tomorrow, we can say, a new phase of this war. Why? Because for sure Iran won't let the Strait of Hormuz getting open, getting secured, as President Trump wants it. It's impossible to have that because the Iranian doesn't have anything but that, right? They have still missiles, drones to launch, over the Israel or some other countries. But for sure, they keep the capability to make impossible any passage of ships over the Strait of Hormuz. So here in this tweet, you saw that it's a matter of what? It's a matter of what is going on for Iran, what will be going on for Iran if Iran doesn't let the Strait of Hormuz, reopen. So look at the stage of the war from the second phase. So we are going to have an escalation very soon, more and more bombing, more and more killing, and here he's just reproducing the exact narrative of Netanyahu and Israelis, according to which we have to do something to Iran so that this country can never become Iran, okay? Can never be able to, Iran to ever be built back, and never can be rebuilt or reconstructed. Impossible to do so. Right? Which means that not only we will erase everything, but also we will destroy completely the sources from which you can get something to reconstruct your country, including oil installation, gas installation, and anything that we can consider as infrastructure. You remember I presented this scheme where we saw that they start by leadership, Khamenei, then system essentials, they did that. Now they are in this phase, infrastructure. So once they destroyed completely infrastructure, because President Trump today talked about maybe we have to bomb the different regions, the different groups, people. So people means population here, you see. So they are bombing not only the infrastructure, but very soon, and I am pretty sure that Israel will be an avant-garde, it will be a pioneer for that, bombing the population. This is exactly the Gaza doctrine, Dahia doctrine, removing completely the population in a region by bombing them, by starving them, by not letting entering any food, water, or medication or whatsoever. This is what they are going to do. That's the Israeli plan executed by Trump through the Epstein file. Don't forget that, right? On the other hand, you I mentioned yesterday that the second scenario was sending something like 500,000 people, soldiers, into Iran, so that they can do what exactly? We don't know, but that's the objective. That's the objective to, to create the conditions in which the United States is going to have a huge number of casualties, in such a way that to get away with this number of casualties, at the end of the day, Israel puts the United States in a situation where there is no other option but just nuke Iran, right? This is how Israel is organizing the things, so that they can really remove physically an entity that is called nation state of Iran. That's the objective. And Israel needs that. Israel needs absolutely, because in order to impose this very bad situation to the Israeli population, which, don't forget that 85% of them are okay with attacking Iran, in order to give them this historic gift, the unbelievable result, and Israeli has really to get the United States bomb, nuke Iran, actually, bombing with the nuclear weapon. So all of this in the phase 2, and the phase 3 is the end of the thing, using the nuclear weapon in Iran, which will be, you remember I said, the starting point of the World War III, with the participation of all the nuclear powers across the world. That's for sure. I don't have any doubt about this, because France, as another nuclear power, is entering in Persian Gulf and in that area, which means that from now on, for Russia, for China, there is a justification, because it's not anymore the war of the United States and Israel against Iran, but is somehow the war of NATO, right? Or the nuclear power. And the United Kingdom is giving a lot of possibility to the Americans to use its air bases and so on. So, which means that we are already in the frame of a global conflict. As you know, today there was a phone call between Trump and Putin. They talk about this and that, and afterward, in the aftermath of this conversation, Trump came up with this solution that is everything but a solution. So that's why the people are talking about the contradictions, the inconsistency, and impossibility of having an easy end for this completely erroneous, miscalculated war. Now, let me bring our discussion toward a conclusion. Once you are in the logic of a complete wrong process, we can use the famous chaos theory to explain how this process will be going on and will result in what exactly. The chaos process explained that the intensity of chaos in a system can go up, of course, normally, and when you make more and more, let's say, errors, mistakes, miscalculations, you are intensifying this process. So it's not a normal, let's say, normal course of intensified chaos in the system, but you have the surge for that, and you have the peak, and suddenly the amount of chaos is such that the system cannot really bear with that. And from that moment, you are going to have the qualitative change, the huge modification that is that are not really in the control of whoever. So this is what it can happen very soon if Trump cannot really walk back for what he started under the orders of Israel, and because of the Epstein file, among other things, something very bad is going to happen. And let me explain it in just a few minutes. So, economically, we know now that in the first week of this war, just 7 days, we lost, we means financial markets across the world lost something equivalent of $6 trillion. And almost $4 trillion belong to only the US markets. Okay? And we are talking about trillion, $6 trillion, $4 trillion for the United States, $2 trillion for other markets across the world. Now, in the second week, if it continues, because today we had effectively the red indicators in the Dow Jones and other stock market, if this week continue in the same way, we won't have another 6 trillion. It could be suddenly exponentially much more. I don't know, 10 trillion, 12 trillion, or much more. For the third week, again, it won't be doubled on, right? That would be much more. So from the moment this process is engaged and Trump has lost all the leverage in order to walk back, in order to, walk away from this situation, we are done. We are doomed. The world economy will collapse, and we are going to have the gravest economic, social, and political crisis of the last century, including 20th century and 21st century. So we are talking about a global collapse of economy, global collapse of diplomacy, politics, and anything institutional in order, to take care of that. Impossible really to imagine what could be done if such a thing happens. And believe me or not, we are just a few days away from the starting point of this phase. Based on my calculation, in the middle of this week, if the Strait of Hormuz remain shut, if there is no miracle, I don't know how, on the basis of the Iranian determination to get the Strait of Hormuz down, right? What is in the balance is not the economic situation of the United States or Israel, but the whole world. And don't forget that with the collapse of the global economy, we are going to have a lot of socio-political chaos everywhere. And that's why we are going to have more and more wars. The wars like between Pakistan and Afghanistan, for example. The fact that the Chinese have to go, for Taiwan in order to, keep the balance for themselves. Russia has to finish the job in Ukraine. And in order to avoid it, the United States is using only and only violence, military forces, more destruction, which will worsen the situation. Okay, which will get the situation worse, and from the moment where there is no really any positive, constructive perspective, we are engaged in a real nightmare for the whole world. We can say, and let me finish with this. While we are talking about this scenario in terms of something horrible, horrific, as I told you, for the Zionists, for those who are waiting for the apocalypse, this is like a music to their ears, right? Because this is what exactly they are looking for. And this contradiction, on the one hand, the whole world trying to see how they can get their head, out of water, and on the other hand, a little nefarious community that is set to destroy the planet so that the God can come and bring them elsewhere. This contradiction, this discrepancy will be the key, to understand what is going on, right? And what will be going on in the future. So that's why I think, even though we can rationalize as much as we want in order to understand, the intricacies of this configuration that is going to be extremely problematic, we must account for the fact that there is one element which is in the core of the whole thing, is in the center of that doesn't follow any rationality regarding what is going on. You see the discrepancy? You see how we are somehow, as the human beings, as the citizens, how we are neutralized almost completely and become impotent when we know that those who have extremely nasty intentions in their mind have all the tools to destroy everything, including nuclear weapons. So I invite you to take into consideration this discrepancy, that rationalizing the things is one thing we can do. There is no limit for that. And the total irrational nature of the main protagonist, the main actors of this equation. And the fact that those who are fully irrational, insane, crazy, they have all the tools to destroy the whole population that wants to think rationally or wants to act rationally. And that's the most misfortunate reality and fact that we are facing. That all this absolute majority of, let's say, rational part of humanity doesn't have any real tools, right? Any leverage. And this minority of irrational and completely fool and crazy, they have, this minority has everything, but absolutely everything to destroy our planet. And this equation is now has been shaped for, decades. Now it's very, very late to change it completely. The only hope that we can have is that during the course of this misadventure they organized, they set up, there would be something, one of these steps that can really stop them in a way or another. I don't know how, by their physical removal, by scaring them or whatsoever. At a given moment, at one of the steps of this long, destructive, annihilating process, suddenly some elements I saw it in the social media, some people lost completely hope that we can do something, and they are hoping the aliens come to do something. So there is no aliens that can help us. This is us. We must do whatever we can so that we can stop it, But let's hope also that the normal course of this process at a given moment push them toward another choice, toward something that is not really as irrational as they want to do. Okay, let's hope so. Thank you very much for watching this video. I ask you to participate in these discussions by putting the comments, and also by sharing your point of view on what you hear in these videos, and also sharing this video with other people, so that, as I told you, we can find maybe a solution thanks to collective wisdom and brainstorming and the collective effort, actually. Let's hope so. Let's hope the best. We are going to continue this discussion in other videos. I have a presentation very soon regarding the model that Israel and United States wants to establish at a global level. We are going to talk about that later. Thank you very much for watching this video.